days 5 and 6 in my December daily, and today I am working on this two-page spread. The first day is my daughter baking some cookies that we got from the grocery store. It's just those ones that come on a sheet and you just lay them out, which was perfect for her to make quickly by herself while I was making dinner that night. And then the other page is about us studying for her life science test that she had, and just a picture of my cute cat because he's cute. So I ended up just scrapbooking this about 6 by 8 paper on the left hand side. This is going to actually go on the back of a page protector. The page I had be the day before, so day 4, was in, I think, a regular just page protector, and the picture that I wanted to use was this portrait style photo, so I knew I wouldn't be able to put it in that pocket page, so I decided just to go ahead and cut out a 6 by 8 piece of paper and use that as the base. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually glue that entire piece of paper on the back side of that page protector. So it will be exposed, it won't be in a page protector, but I thought that was a good way to use the size of photo I wanted to use instead of trying to make the photo fit in the page protector using like a 3 by 4 photo, for instance. You won't see me actually glue that to the page protector in this video, but basically I just literally just put some score tape on it and then add it to that page. So right now I'm just trimming down my photos, and I thought they needed a little bit of a border. They weren't popping off the paper that I was using enough, so I'm just trimming everything down and I'm gluing it to some white cardstock, and I think that just separates it from the background a bit more and makes it look a little bit more finished. And I didn't mention it, but I think I showed it. The paper, that the red and pink polka dot paper, I did stitch around that with some gold stitching on my sewing machine, just with a zigzag stitch. So this photo here is a picture of the diagram that we were using to study. She was learning the bones of the body, and what I'm doing here is I'm trying to kind of fix this photo. Instead of reprinting it, I was being lazy, and I just wanted to add the top of this skeleton skull because it just looked funny. It looked like it was getting cut off. So I put the littlest sliver of paper up here, and I'm just going to trace the missing piece of the top of the skull and then just color it in with a black pen, and it works perfect. You definitely can tell if you're really looking at it, but from a distance you can't even tell that I added that strip of paper, and I think it just finishes it off better. I don't know, it just looked really funny with that top cut off, so I decided to do that to fix it. This is a little strip that came from the top of the paper that is in the Busy Sidewalks paper pad, and I just trimmed it down and I'm making a page flag with that. I do that a lot actually with the branding strips that are at the top of those little like 6 by 6 books, or this is a 6 by 8 book, and it's perfect because it's the perfect size strip and then just adds a little bit of an anchoring spot where you want it. So I just cut it out a flag end on it, and I glued that down to that Finding Calm in the Chaos card. Here I'm just measuring out so I can do some journaling. I'm going to be doing 2 pieces of journaling, one with the cat and then one with the skeleton there. And I'm going to do that on my typewriter. And then I'm also going to take this notebook piece of paper and do journaling here. And the reason I use the notebook piece of paper is because I was talking about my daughter studying and school and things like that, and I thought the notebook paper would be perfect with that kind of theme, I guess. So I'm taking all this over to my typewriter, my vintage typewriter, and I'm going to type out all the journaling. So now it's all done. I'm just erasing my little marks that I used to keep track of where my typing needed to be. And I'm going to trim these down, and I'm going to end up making these into like little labels you'll see here in a minute. The one with the cat kind of stays just in that square or that rectangle shape. I do add a little bit of gray distress ink around the edges just to make it look a little bit more finished. It just felt a little funny, so I thought it anchored it a bit more. And I just add just the slightest little bit of gray ink. For this one, I am going to back it with this green paper like I'm showing, and I'm going to end up snipping off each of the corners to make it look more like a label here in a little bit before I stick it down to the page. Right now I'm thinking I'm just going to keep it like this, but I decide I want to change it up just a bit here in a little bit. So now I'm just coming back to the journaling I did on the lined paper, and I'm just going to trim that out with my scissors, and then I'm going to trim it a little bit cleaner with the little guillotine trimmer here in a second, just to make sure that fits on, and I'm just going to glue that down with some regular dry adhesive. And so, oh, I lied. I'm actually going to snip the little corners off that too. I forgot I did that. And I just like how that looks. It almost looks like it's one of those books. You know how it used the books, the old photo books would have like slits in the paper and you would tuck the corners into those slits. That's kind of what that reminds me of. And I think that looks neat. It just looks like it, kind of is more, I don't know, texture. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but I just like how that looks. So I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive to the back of that one. And then that card with the kitty cat's done. Now I'm just going to glue the card with the skeleton, and then I'm going to trim this one up as well. I thought it was a little bit too long, so I am going to trim off the edge here in a minute. And I like how it fits better on here too. So of course, after I start taping it, that's when I decide to trim it down. But just trimming everything down, making it just a little bit smaller, and it just looks better. It doesn't look like there's so much white space on that right hand side of that little strip. And then I'm going to glue that down. And then I'm going to work on this red page here. I wanted to use this little chipboard piece, and I felt like this photo needed something on the right hand side. So I'm just trimming this kind of what plaidish colored paper down, and I'm using my little lacy trim border punch. I'm just going to trim off a strip here, and then I'm going to add that to the right hand side of the photo of my daughter. I just think that kind of anchors things, and I'm going to end up putting some journaling there. Right there where I had that chipboard piece, I'm going to put journaling there instead. I liked how that love is my secret ingredient worked better in that top corner. It was very blank and that fit perfectly. So I'm going to look at some labels in my stash. I'm going to pull some from the Citrus Twist kit, and then I'm also going to pull some from Tracy Fox labels that I printed from Etsy. And this is just my little book that has all my labels in it, and I want to use a red one. I'm going to pull this one here, and I'm actually going to end up using that one. I thought I was going to use something different, but I liked the white on the other one better. I thought that creamy color just wasn't going to work. So this one's a little bit whiter, and I think that looks nicer. So this is where I'm going to put my journaling for the cookies, and I'm just using this white circle as a template. I'm going to trace around it because I want to type on the vellum, and I didn't quite make it the way I wanted it to, so I'm just going to move that circle up a bit. And then I'm going to take that piece of paper, or that vellum piece of paper, to my typewriter, and I'm going to use that line that I drew just to make sure that my journaling goes in the right spot. So I'll type on the actual label and the vellum, and then I'm going to trim that out. And then that is all going to go on that left side of the page. The last thing I'm going to add after I trim this out is a little green puffy sticker that says joy. I thought it just needed a little bit something in the top right of this little journaling spot, so you'll see that here in a second. While I'm doing that, I just want to thank you guys so much for joining me. Sorry it's been a little bit long coming for these December daily videos, but I have had a little bit more time on my hands, so hopefully I'll get a couple more videos up, and hopefully you're enjoying this little series. Not sure if I'll get all of the pages up, but I probably will still film and record and post after Christmas, just because I know people are still working on their albums even after Christmas. If you have any questions, leave those in the comments below. If you haven't already subscribed, I'd love to have you. And like I said, if you are enjoying this, you like the December Daily, give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below where you guys are with your December Daily. Have you started? Are you working on it this year? Are you doing it not quite so daily? Just let me know. I'm curious to see what everybody else is doing this year as well. So I'm just going to adhere this all to the page. And I forgot that I had to still glue all the rest of the stuff. So I'm going to glue this little cluster down. And then I'm going to add one more thing to that Calm in the Chaos card, and it's just going to be another little strip that was left over from when I punched out the kind of lacy trim border for the left hand side. I'm just going to add that. I just like that texture. And I don't show on the video, but I do add days 5 and 6 numbers to these pages. I actually forgot and I had to come back and add them later. So I'll do that here after the video ends. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Hope you are having a great holiday season so far, and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye-bye.